guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Girl Meets World, Episode 3, called Girl Meets Sneak Attack. And yes, I will be doing Girl Meets World reviews every week, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see more Girl Meets World reviews. But let's talk about this episode. We get to see a new girl in school that really likes Lucas, wants to go to the movies. She's a good flirt, and Riley is not so good at flirting, and she doesn't want this girl to go on a date with Lucas, so she tries everything in her might that way this girl doesn't go on a date. And in the end, we get to see that Lucas is a good friend and says, "Hey Maya, if you don't want to come with my friends to the movies, then I don't want to be with you either." And Maya's like, "Oh, alright, well, I'm gonna leave." And the other story is that we get to see Augie is growing up, likes this girl who's 6 years old. She's bossing him around, and he just wants to grow up. He's taking his stuffed animals away. He doesn't want to watch this kid show. And yeah, it's just also the parents seeing that their children are growing up. Cory and Topanga are realizing this. So, what did I think about this episode? I thought it was a good episode. You know, one thing I like about Girl Meets World is that, yeah, you know, you can't really analyze the show. It's not a show you can really analyze. I do think Boy Meets World is a little bit better, but also Boy Meets World had a time to grow. The first season of Boy Meets World I don't think is as good as the later seasons. Honestly, I think you could put the early seasons of Boy Meets World, or at least the first season when he's in like 7th grade, to Girl Meets World to compare them really well, because I do think they are pretty much the same, because they're very much younger and they're dealing with younger problems. And I think if you're a parent and you're watching this with your child, it's a really good bonding experience, because you could relate to Cory and Topanga just growing up, being parents, still thinking that your children at some point is like, I'm a kid myself, Cory says. It's like, how am I supposed to deal with this? So I think that's interesting that Cory still has that point of view, because we grew up with Cory and we're seeing him now as a parent learning new things and seeing what the kids have to go through. So I think this is a really good family show. And one thing that this show does very well is teach lessons, and that's what we see in this episode. Keep your friends close. And one thing I really liked in this episode was Lucas's character, actually. I thought Lucas was just going to be a prop in a way. A lot of these Disney Channel shows make the boy that you like a prop, and he doesn't really say anything by, it's like, oh yeah, I'll go on a date. He doesn't really have an opinion. And by the end of this episode, he really did have an opinion and said, you know what, I want to stay with my friends, so that's what I'm going to do. So I really liked Lucas' character in this episode, and the lessons being taught were pretty good. Now, what was the bad of this episode? Again, it's not the funniest show, you know, it gets a little boring if you're an adult watching this, but I think the lessons for kids are really good for the show. And I honestly didn't love the Augie story that much. I don't really love the addition of Augie. I know there was supposed to be an older son in the middle, but they kicked him out, they cut him out. There wasn't any hard feelings about it, but they just didn't want him in the show anymore, because I guess it didn't work out with what they wanted for the show, so they did cut him out. But I think that would actually be better if we had this middle child going on, because I think Augie is just way too young, especially just to relate to. I guess he's the cute factor, but I think he overdoes it sometimes. And then I feel like Topanga is also so much involved in his life and really does not do anything else in the show. You don't feel like this is Topanga that you grew up with. So my complaint is that I think we should have more Topanga in the show and make her do more things. I don't think she's as proactive as a character as she usually is. But yeah, I think this was a pretty good episode. I actually think this is the best episode that aired so far, and I hope I can say that every week, where I think the show is just improving every episode. And I think this episode definitely was one of the better ones. Again, a good lesson, and I'm hoping the comedy gets there, because the comedy is still a little off. And I think Cory was very much a character this episode compared to that first episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Rant Situations, and don't forget to like my Facebook page, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.